There's plenty of food for survival in the wild. The easiest thing to catch is grasshoppers. You can eat it in a little roasting. If we're lucky, we'll get a scorpion. They say it's as good as beef. Of course, the best thing is the bird. You can just pick it and roast it. 100% natural, no feed. You can see how delicious this is. They ate it quite happily. Not even the bones. But how did the forest go up in flames? I'm afraid someone else is learning how to double-step the sewing machine. The show transports the contestants to a Himalayan valley. Taryn is a care worker, a lot of field first aid knowledge, and practiced wilderness survival from an early age. Doesn't look like much on the surface, does it? But the show gave him a pretty high rating. You can expect a little bit of a hand. Jenny, on the other hand, is much less impressive. Although I do venture out into the wild, but not very familiar with survival. She just wanted to come and learn, and see if I can surpass myself. So the rating is much lower. Just see how well they work together. The temperature difference between day and night here is quite large. Stormy weather and dangerous creatures. Who wants to suffer here? The contestants also have to wear their original skin. I can already imagine how miserable they'll be. First time I met a stranger naked, it was very embarrassing. You can still see yourself online when you get back. I can't come here without a little courage. Jenny was really looking forward to her partner. Soon the two men came to meet where they met. Don't know what to say after introducing yourself. The scene was rather awkward. I had to make some bad jokes to ease the awkwardness. Both sides were so cold that they could only laugh. Or what's in the bag? Trent thinks Jenny's kind of cool, kind of looking forward to her survival skills. I don't know if the show requires it. The containers the players carry are very small. I don't think we should cook it several times a day. Tren is a custom machete. I believe we can cut a piece of sky out of here. Now, they have to go up the ridge. Camp near the water source for 21 days. It looks pretty simple, but it's not easy to walk. There are pine needles all over the floor wanting to fuck you. Well, Jenny's already a pain in the ass. Tren was still doing some science around here. Shut him up and stop chanting in an instant. And now it's an embarrassing situation. Suddenly, a monkey broke the silence. There are really a lot of monkeys around here, and they're not afraid of people. They might even strike. I'd have to take a detour out of here. Fortunately, the water source was not far ahead. It doesn't look very clean. You can even see tadpoles and frogs inside. Even if it boils, it may spoil your stomach. They smeared some mud on themselves. Instantly feel skin that is comfortable a lot. It just smells a little heady. They want it all over them. And Tren was nice enough to fix Jenny's back. Now everyone wants to take a break. The map says it's the only water source nearby. Had to find a place to camp around here. Always keep an eye on the troop. They don't want a man-monkey war here. Tren plans to spread the weeds and leaves on the ground. Just pack it up and put it together. Jenny wasn't too happy with her partner. He's got everything. I can't even touch the knife if I want to. Tren said it was custom-made. What if it gets lost? The two sides really don't get along very well, do they? Jenny had to work with a stick. It's not comfortable to use at all. Tren was trying to make a fire. After all, no one brought a firearm. It's not very difficult to make fire with a hand drill. Tren has worked on that hand speed. In a few moments we have ashes. For him, you need hands to make a fire. Jenny doesn't think people are good, but it does have a few brushes. Now, let's see if we can drink the water when it boils. No one can guarantee 100% cleanliness. Try to boil as long as possible. At least it'll give you some psychological comfort. Jenny didn't really want to risk it. What about being sent away? Mostly. Tren didn't want to explain. Anyone who knows anything about wilderness survival knows that. Water that can be boiled and drunk will kill most germs. I'm sure I'll drink it anyway. Tren tasted it and it felt good. Jenny had a little too, though, but inside it was very worried. This water doesn't even know how many elements are hidden in the periodic table. Would you dare to drink such water? Now we just have to hope that nothing goes wrong. Taryn urged her to take it easy. It's not as bad as it looks. Is that really the case? When night came, Jenny felt it was too bad. Tummy upset and night cold. There is no way to sleep. And then it gets really hot in the morning. This cold and fire weather is especially prone to problems. Jenny just threw up and threw up. She's 100% sure it's the water. I told you I couldn't drink. Tren thinks it's altitude sickness. She had sunk into dehydration. The best thing is to drink more water. But it looks like Jenny's not so keen. She was comfortable lying down. Trian has to do everything on his own. Just building the shelter is exhausting. I might as well be here alone. Jenny just watched him work. I'm also embarrassed. Day 3 of the challenge. Jenny is better than never. Tren thought if it didn't work out, might as well go home early. There's nothing we can do here anyway. Okay. Jenny may be slowing the team down, but I don't like Trian's attitude. The relationship between the two sides was becoming extremely awkward. Tren was focused on his work, not trying to comfort your partner at all. Jenny can't stay down. She needs to prove she's useful too. I'd love to play with that knife. Too bad Tren had it all along. I had to poke around with a stick. Lucky to find plants to eat. The roots are as sweet as sugar. She wanted to borrow a knife and dig it out. The problem is Trin doesn't want to, would rather run over and help. I don't want Jenny to touch the knife. The line's gonna break up sooner or later. Day 5 of the challenge. Trin still held on to the knife. Not even if Jenny wants to touch it. He was really afraid of the custom knife breaking. It doesn't matter what Jenny says, okay. And now it's raining. They need to hurry up and gather more firewood. Jenny said she really had no energy to move. What else was Trin supposed to do? Alone to collect firewood. Imagine how tired he must be. Your body is bound to break down. To avoid getting wet, the shelter needs to be upgraded. Unfortunately, nature won't wait for them. It's raining like it should. The firewood that was getting very wet. The burning effect is very poor. Trin thinks Jenny is useless. Might as well go home early and rest. This really pissed Jenny off. It's not the water that makes you sick. If I could find anything cleaner. She's already helped get the shelter ready. And he needs a knife to do his job. What's the use of occupying it all the time? You might as well go with the knife. Jenny is getting more and more excited. Trin thinks Jenny's just lazy. It's okay to drink on your own. Practice your dishes and don't make excuses. I'd rather be out in the rain than in there. The rain didn't last long though. But Jenny's heart is cold. I had no idea Trin would be so selfish. If it were us up there, we'd be hitting hard. I thought the challenge would be hard before I came here. But I didn't expect this. Trin didn't mean to target Jenny. It's just that everyone's here for the challenge. Why do you have to do everything yourself? This problem has to be solved. Even though Jenny wasn't feeling well and needed to rest. Taryn wished there was something she could do. Keep a positive attitude, instead of whining there and whining there. Jenny knows she has a bad attitude, but she also had something nice to say about Taryn. And firewood was collected. When Trin went out to work, she's the one who's been watching the fire. I also work hard for the team. After communicating with each other, things are getting a lot easier. In the days that follow, they pay more attention to food gathering. I hope I can get something to eat. There's a lot of bird activity around. Trin's gonna get a bird trap to catch them. The finished product looks pretty good. I don't know if the bait's gonna work. The challenge continued on the 8th day. Trin found a fat scorpion over here. He fell in love instantly. Just use the stick to control it. As long as you don't get stung by the tail. Put it straight on the fire. It smells pretty good though. Jenny didn't like it very much, but it was nice to get some meat. It's as crunchy as chicken chips. If only there were a few dozen more. They get along much better now. At least not as silent as before. It's just that if you live on this food, it's really hard to get better. And the night temperatures were unusually cold. It only gets weaker under double torture. Day 10 of the challenge. That's a lot less weight than when I came in. It's all about getting food to fill your stomach. You don't make it to your last day without food. There's plenty to eat around. It takes more time to hunt. Jenny wants to borrow a knife for chopping wood. Taryn thought about it for a long time. Finally decided to say yes. That made Jenny so happy. I was finally approved by Taryn. Have the confidence to complete the challenge together. Trin's trap has been out there for days. But no bird wants to hurry. There is no choice but to try and catch some frogs and eat them. If we catch enough of them, that must be filling. Too bad there's nothing in a busy day. Just when everyone thought it was another day of starvation. I didn't expect movement from the trap. Just as Trin was about to pop the champagne. Find nothing in there. All right, we're gonna have to starve today. The challenge came on day 13. They didn't expect to be so hungry. It's hard to imagine how people used to survive. You know, Trin's mental state is getting worse and worse. If you can't pull yourself together, it's really possible to give up the challenge. I wonder what he's talking to himself about. Jenny was very worried about it. All Trin can do now is check for traps. Pray some bird will have pity on them. Even for roasted wings. The only thing to eat now is grasshoppers. Just when everyone's hungry and wondering. The trap was successfully triggered. I don't know if the show released the bird. Trin's gonna eat today anyway. Jenny was on the verge of tears. For the first time, Trin found it hard to survive in the wild. This bird has to be taken care of. The best thing for him to do is break his neck. He said he was sorry, but this hand isn't shaking at all. Good guy's got his fucking head ripped off. Jenny felt cold in her neck. Luckily, it didn't piss him off before. Let's get this cleaned up while we can. They swallowed all they could eat. Jenny is very lucky to have a good teammate. The days that are getting better and better. Taryn can't wait to roast the bird. I can smell the meat in my nose. It feels like it's about coming back to life. Jenny found the challenge really difficult. Never had a chance to eat this roast bird before. You could feel Trian's excitement across the screen. Take it straight to your mouth and taste it. The flavor is quite rich. Every drop of gravy must not be wasted. I can't wait to swallow a bone. The challenge is on its 17th day. Taryn still wants to get some more food. That'll give you the strength to go further when you evacuate. Ideas are good, but there's only so much meat. I had to grab some more grasshoppers for a snack. It's a little bit of an antidote. Only 2 days until the end of the challenge. The relationship between the two is getting better and better. I even agreed to hang out when we got back. Man, someone else is actually out in the wild. Is this supposed to be a casual kiss? The weather returned before the evacuation. It's raining harder and harder. They had to stay in shelters from the rain. The heat of the fire is not enough. Very worried about the last night going wrong. Let's just hope this rain ends soon. What no one expected was, there will be a fire in the middle of the night. This is not a special effect for the show. It was a real fire. I don't know if it will affect the challenge. Can only wait for the program team notice. And so it came to the last day. The fire was successfully contained. They can't evacuate from there. Can only go around to get to the extraction point. The amount of time and energy it takes is multiplying. So when it comes to leaving the field, be sure to put out the fire. They pack up and head to the extraction point. Now you can see the other side burning. The descent was not easy. Plus they don't have a lot of physical strength. Every now and then you fall on the ground. Taryn feels fine physically. It's just that Jenny's in worse shape. As much as Trin wants to encourage and help her. But I don't know what to say. Just stop and rest for a while. Then we have to climb the ridge. I'm afraid Jenny's gonna roll over. Now they can only walk part of the way and rest for a while. Jenny knew there was only one last stretch left. But the body really can't handle it. Taryn knew it was too late to rest. Grab Jenny and walk over right now. Fortunately, it's not far from the extraction point. Soon to see the show's helicopter. The two of them were finally able to have a good rest. One such challenge is enough. I don't want to come back and starve again. Trent is looking forward to his date with Jenny. It would be nice to go one step further. Jenny is still basking in the joy of completing the challenge. As for dating, that's totally out of mind. I think it's time to feel sorry for Trian. I wonder who else will be joining us for the challenge. Let's wait and see.